Alright, here we got a Samsung dryer. It's a multi-steam sensor smart care dryer, and we have a little bit of an issue here. We turn it on, everything looks good, the clean filter light comes on, okay, it goes off. I've checked the filter, I did a quick diagnosis. It's not the filter. I go to hit play or start, everything looks like it should be starting up and it should start to spin and heat up, but we got nothing happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the dryer out of the laundry room, we'll open it up, we'll do some diagnostics, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we pulled the washing. Alright, so we pulled the dryer out. We've undone the two screws at the top, I'll show you after. When we put it back together, open your door. You have to take out your 4 screws holding your door in. I've already done that. Then all you do is lift your door up and out. It's got 2 screws that go into these holding mechanisms here to hold the door. Okay, so the way we take the front off, sometimes people are going to be looking for other mounting screws, and it's the screw right below the door lock. It holds it on. Take it off. Okay, so we got the top screw out. We got the screw under the door latch out, has to come out as well. Then there's the last 2 screws just in front of the lint filter that need to come out. And that's all that holds the faceplate on. Okay? I thought there might have been a couple down along the sides, but there isn't. All you have to do is lift it off these tabs here. Okay, so when it's on, you just lift it up and off now, and it should just come out. First, you want to carefully take apart the door lock switch. Okay, everything else is off. You lift it out and pull it off. Okay, one of the easiest things to check is if your belt is in good condition. The belt on this dryer is tight. If it's loose, it means it's either come off the idler arm or the motor pulley. You spin the drum, it should move with it. So everything looks good with that. I'm going to show you how to take off the front. We'll remove the drum and we'll test some of the other circuitry that would affect the dryer not to start. So what we're first going to do is we're going to take off this housing here. This housing is held on by 4 Phillips screws. We have to take that off. We also have the blower cover housing, which the lint tray goes into. Remove your lint filter. These are Robert's screws. Okay, you want to clean this out good. I put the screws with it so that we don't lose it. These are just 4 screws. Phillips as well. Okay, we don't want to lose those screws either. We have a light that we have to disconnect. It's right back here, it's just a pull connection. You pull it out. We don't want any of these wires getting damaged. Alright, so that's disconnected. The whole front should come out. We actually have another light down here. We're going to take that one out. Okay, now the front is free to come out. The way it comes out is, it's once again in these lifting tabs, so we lift up about a ½ inch and then pull out and it should be free to come out. That's off. Set it to the side. Now we have to take off our belt. You do that by reaching your hand in the back. I'll show you how to take the belt off once we remove the drum. I've already done that. Just lift your drum up. Make sure your belt's not caught on the motor. and it should be free to come out. Take care not to damage your belt as you remove the drum. Okay, one of the first diagnosis things you would do is when you have it off, you can look in the back vent exhaust tube hole, and you can see this is your idler pulley, so it puts tension on your belt. Mine's in good condition. If this breaks or if the belt comes off, there's a switch here. When the arm goes down or the belt becomes loose, it engages it, killing power to the motor and some of the other functions. Okay, the switch is down here, and we're going to test it for continuity. It's kind of hard to do, so I'm going to take it off and we'll test it outside of the dryer so I can show it to you. Alright, once again it's going to be a Phillips screwdriver. It's held in by one screw. I've already cleaned all the lint out from down here. It was quite dirty. And this is your switch. Alright, so this is in the open circuit connection. When the idler's up, it's in this position. When the idler falls loose, it causes the switch to make contact and break the circuit. So I'm going to show you how to test that now with a multimeter. Alright, here we have our multimeter. I have it set to ohms. So all we're going to do is take our positive and negative leads. We're going to get into the back of the switch. What we're looking for is continuity. And as you can see, the meter moved and the switch is good, so we stick it back in. And then we want to test the switch, so I'm going to activate as if the tensioner has become loose. And you can see that the multimeter went off. I'm going to release the switch, and we see that it's got good continuity. So this is not the issue, so we're going to move on to the next test. Okay, that's back in. Moving to the next test. Okay, the next two things we're going to test is the fusible thermostat here for the exhaust vent. So if there's a lint blockage or for some reason it gets too hot in here, this will pop a fuse and it'll cause the dryer not to start. Right beside it is a sensor that senses when your clothes are dry, and it helps to tell your dryer how much heat it needs or when to shut off when there's no moisture in the exhaust vent. So we're going to test these two next. We'll just take the leads off these ones and we can test them. Once again, we're going to use our multimeter. Alright. We have continuity here. And with this other one here, we're not showing anything, but I'm not sure if that one's supposed to read anything. I don't know if it senses it or needs power. We do have some replacement pieces, so we can test our pieces before we put them in. Now we move to the other side, and then here's your heating element. This is where your dryer gets its hot air from. It comes up and through the back and blows into the tumbler. Here we have a thermo switch, a fusible switch, and your heater element. Okay, so we've tested these and we've had reading. We're going to replace some of them as we bought the kit, and they're all new, so we're going to put new ones in. I'll show you the kit. So here's the kit we got. Dryer heating element. It was $50 Canadian online. And it comes with the heating element and some other things. We'll pull it out and see what's in there. We have our one fusible thermostat. We have our nice brand new dryer element. We have our sensing switch for the exhaust fan for moisture to tell when the clothes are dry. We have the second fusible thermostat, so if there's an overheat or an issue, it will shut off the dryer. And there's the other one as well. Okay, so what I've got here is I got the moisture sensor. I'm going to put it in new, and I got the thermostat fusible length for the exhaust vent. I've tested this and I get a different reading from this one and the one that's in there, so I'm going to start by replacing these two, and then I may hook it up to see if it works and go from there. Alright, so since the kit was cheap, we're just going to replace these two items, and then I'll bring you back and we'll test the motor. So we have those two replaced, so all we're going to do is hook them back up. And we're going to show you how to test the motor, okay? So all we do is we take these out. And then I'll bring you down to show you where we're testing. So what you want to do is you're going to see the numbers. We're going to test the numbers 4 and 5 with the ohms meter, and once again we're going to look for continuity. You want to be careful not to touch any of the other ones. There's no power, but we're still checking. I did that off camera as I need a lot of hands to do so, and it was good. So we'll plug it back in and move on to our next check or reassembly, and we'll check it from there. So we are going to replace the thermostat, the fusible link, and the heating element, as it was pretty affordable, and since we got it apart, we're not going to waste our time. So I'm going to take apart these screws, take out these sensors, and I'll bring you back. Alright, so we have everything removed. There's 6 screws holding this top piece on. One left to take out. There's a tab here that I have to bend up. Alright, now we can remove the housing. You can inspect in there. It's actually a good thing to clean it out since you have it at this point. Here's your heater element. Alright, doesn't look bad. We're going to clean it up a bit in here. Okay, so we got the heater element disconnected. You're taking it out. So the little tab that's bent over on this before you pull it out, you want to make sure you pull that out or you could break the ceramic isolator. Okay, now we'll put it back in after we clean it up. So when handling the heating element, you should wear gloves or something just so you don't get all oils on the coils or any of the bare cables, as it could cause them to burn out prematurely. Alright, so there's our nice new heating element. We're going to put it in since it came with the kit. Like I said, the kit was only $50. So definitely worth it to just put in the new one. And then we have to put our connectors back into the isolator block, right, which is here, so we'll feed them through. You want to make sure that these wires don't touch each other. We're going to set up in there. And when you push them through, you have little tabs. You're supposed to bend them over so they don't pull out. Alright, so now we got heater elements put in the isolator block. We've bent over the tabs so they can't pull out. We didn't touch any of this with our bare hands. You want to make sure when you're setting your coils up, if you need any room, that none of the coils become touching anything else. Now we're going to put in the cover. All looks good. up your tabs. We'll put in our screws. Okay, so we have the heating element back inside its housing. We've changed the two sensors. One's a thermal fuse, one's a thermal sensor, has a 50-degree operating range, and that's where your dryer operates between 200 and 260, with 10 degrees in between there. And then this is all in, nice and clean, new element. We've got our two fuses in our blower housing over here. We have our one for our moisture sensor, and then we have our fusible thermostat in case there's an obstruction. Our pulley and idle arm is good, our switch is good, we checked our motor. So now all we have to do is reinstall the drum. Alright, now we're going to put the drum back in. We have a helper today.
Yeah, me.
So what we want to do is just repeat the disassembling process. We're going to make sure our drum goes in.
Carefully.
Make sure our belt doesn't get stuck on anything.
You want to get stuck. Be careful.
Okay, so everything looks good there.
Yeah.
Belt's in. Now we'll put on the front housing.
Just look.
Yep.
And here you go.
Okay.
Be
Like I
careful.
said, we cleaned all the parts before we did this to make sure everything's nice and clean.
Yeah.
Put the drum in. We're going to put the screws in the 4 mounting holes. Hook up our wires while he does that. It's always nice to have a helper. Teach him young. There's 2 more. Do this side, we'll switch. We want to hook up our other light to the bottom before we put it back together. Then all we'll have left to do is put on our door switch. We'll hook up our belt from the back. I'll show you what that looks like into the exhaust tube. One more to go, yep. Alright, so from this point we have all our lights hooked up. Everything's been replaced. We have our drum screwed in. And now we have to put on the lint trap and the blower diffuser. Make sure it goes on properly. 3 screws to fix it on there.
Yep.
1,
1,
2,
2,
and 3.
3. There's the white there.
Then we're going to put on our door.
And
We're going to make sure our door goes on the 3 clips at the bottom. Just sits on there. Okay, then we roll it up and in. Make sure to hook up our door switch. Wiring harness. And it just gets clipped back up here. 1, 2. We have our screw up in the top here. And we have our screw just below the door switch. Okay, and we have our 2 screws, one at a time, to go right in here to hold in our lint trap in the front of the panel snugly. And all we do is close the top.
yep. Carefully.
Carefully, when I get it onto these clips first,
Again.
they line up. Alright, then we have to put the door on. Door gets hung in on those 2 spots.
1.
Alright, we'll put the screws in there.
And
Door's hung, now we're just gonna make sure we put in our retaining screws.
I don't remember how. And what's mine?
No,
What's this?
those bolts are just sixes.
Okay, so in case you.
So if you get two
What's
sixes,
slips?
oh, even,
Okay, I'll just
not-
roll. Okay?
I'm not even.
One side?
No.
Okay. 4 and 6. That equal 10. 1, 2,
Then what's
3,
the
4,
you think
5,
it's
6, 7, 8,
Okay,
9,
close
10.
this. All that's left to do now is to reach our hand in here and to reattach the drive belt to the motor and the idler pulley. And what we did was we reinserted the exhaust tube. You just make sure you line it up. A flashlight helps you see in there when you're doing it. It's held in by one screw. Then we come up to the top. And all that's left to do is reattach the lockdown clamps. And they hold the back of the top of the dryer together. And we're done. Okay, a quick update. Didn't fix the cause. Must have been the motherboard or something. Guess what, Samsung? Won't be buying another one. Whirlpool it is.